Okay, so today we're going to talk about pens. These are a few of my favorites. As you can see, there's quite a few. I'm going to go through them and I will show you how each one draws on different types of paper. I have some watercolor, some artist tile paper, and some black paper. So let's get started. This is the Signo Uniball DX. The tip is a 0.38. It is a gel pen. It's available on Amazon in a 12-pack. It's fairly reasonably priced. I can't tell you how much because I don't remember. It makes a really nice thin line. It rolls on really easily. This, as you can see, is a thin artist tile type paper. This is Strathmore watercolor paper. I really love how it draws on this paper. It is a textured paper. I use it for other things, as you can see. But it is very textured, but this pen glides across it very smoothly. This is a Canson watercolor. As you can see, this one also draws really nice on there. I love the thin line of this one. This is my go-to pen for just about everything. The next pen are the Micron pens. These are the signature pen of the Zentangles. A lot of people are huge fans of this pen. I like the pen. It is not my favorite pen. It does really well on watercolor. It does have a little bit of a jagged edge on this one because this is a textured paper. Again, this is the Canson, and this is the Strathmore, and this one is my go-to paper. I really love this paper. As you can see, this pen is pretty great, little pen. But as you can see, I'll show you closer. The edges are a little bit jagged. For me, I need a cleaner line than that, just because I'm picky that way. It does come in some colors. I know they have a colored pack. I don't have a colored pack. This is a brown. As you can see, this is a very thin tip. This is an 01. The last one was an 08. I do like this brown one for some of the things that I do. When I need a brown color, I will use this one. It does have a very thin line, and I do use the thin line ones a lot for detail. This is an inexpensive Taotree fineliner pens that I found on Amazon. They do come in a colored pack. There was a lot in the pack. There's a lot of different shades. I have used these numerous times. I used the black one quite a bit because it does really well over the top of watercolor. As you can see, it is very comparable with the Micron pens, so you can mix and match. It doesn't seem to bleed out quite as much as the Microns. But like I said, it does go over watercolor really well, which is what I use these for a lot. The next one, I will go with these. These are also the Signo Uniball DX. They come in the 0.38 point, and it comes in a large package of colors. They are nice, bright, vivid colors. These are gel, so if you're gonna mix them with watercolor, they are not 100% waterproof, and neither is the black one. This one is not exactly, it claims to be waterproof. It is not. I found out the hard way. It will go over the top of watercolor nicely. It does not like to go over the top of metallic watercolors. When I'm doing all of my drawings of illustrated flowers, this is my go-to pen because of the fine line that it does make. And I love the colors. They're bright and beautiful and well worth the money. I want to say they were probably somewhere around the $20 mark for the colored ones, and I think the black ones are like maybe $11.98 or so. These three are also Signo Uniball. This is my absolute favorite all-time white pen, hands down. The only problem I ever have with it is that it gets a little crusty around the point when you're using it. That's what I keep these kind of papers for. Then I can just color on the paper with the pen and it will clean itself off. But as you can see, there is no problem getting this pen to write on a piece of paper. It's got a nice flow. It's very smooth. It doesn't skip. It keeps its color consistent. It is my favorite white pen to use. Also, a little secret: if you make a mistake with your other pens, it covers that mistake very nicely. So sometimes I make mistakes out of lines and cover it with that. But these pens on black paper are fantastic. They do fantastic for highlighting. I use them a lot for the stars in my little worlds to make some defined stars when splattering didn't work so well. Anyway, that's the Signo Uniball white. I would strongly suggest that you get these also on Amazon. They come in the pack with the silver and the gold. So we'll cover the gold next, which is my favorite gold. It is exactly the same as the white. It draws extremely nicely on black. It draws extremely nicely on white. It is a very smooth, as you can see. It's a lot of fun to play with. And it's got a nice shine to it. So that's the gold and the white. I'm not a big silver user. I don't know why. I wear a lot of silver, but I just don't draw with a lot of silver. However, this also draws really well. I've never used this pen. It's brand new. So as you can see, it skips a little bit on here. I think it has the clogged in like I was talking about, so it's skipping a little bit. You just have to keep using it and you can draw on something there. And you can see now that it's flowing really nicely. With just a very light touch, you can lay down a good layer of color off of these pens. So, Uniball, Signo, fantastic pens. I suggest getting the black, the color, and the silver, white, and gold if you can afford it. The next one, these are Arteza Inkonic pens. These are fine liners. They come in a huge variety of colors. I have the 120 pack, 2 of the 120 packs. I was doing a very large picture and used all of one of the green colors, and they don't sell them individually, so my husband was kind enough to buy me a second set so I could finish the picture. That might not have been the greatest color to choose. I'll find a darker one here. Here's a purple. This is the Canson watercolor paper. As you can see, it has no bleeding. It does really well on this. It colors really nicely. These are good pens. They're at a really good price point. They're really good pens to have to color in. You can layer these pens. As you can see, I can color that little tiny flower in really nicely with the very fine point on these. If you have not tried these and you're looking for a good fine liner colored pen, I suggest this one. They do fantastic. These are not going to show up on the black. As you can see, it does not do well on the black. I don't believe any of the colored ones show up very well. This is the Uniball. I'm not sure I own any pens that would show up on black very well other than the white. Well, I have your standard gel pen pack that I use on there. The next pens I'm going to talk about are quite expensive. They have small packs of them that you can get, and they have very large packs of them that you can get. They are the Karin Brushmarker Pro. This is a watercolor based brush. It has a very sharp point, and it has very lovely colors. Again, Canson watercolor paper, and this is the Strathmore watercolor paper, and this is your standard artist tile paper. So you can see they do very well. It's not going to do well on black. The thing I love about these the most is taking some water and a brush, and I just dampened the brush just a tad. You can actually take your brush to the point of this, and as you can see, you can pick up, I'll do this on the watercolor, you can pick up a little bit of the ink, and you can actually brush this on. When you get your brush wetter, you can blend this out. I just really love being able to use this pen for this. I use this in fine details on my watercolors. It also comes with the blender brush, which is water in there. It has the fine point, and it allows you to kind of do the same thing, but as you can see, it doesn't work as good as your little paintbrush. So I don't use the blenders very much. I have found, however, that this blender brush will help you blend your colored pencils, and it blends these Arteza pens really well. I'm assuming it's just because it's the wet point on there. As you can see, it will blend that out. The thing about using these, and I think you can probably see what it's doing, it will shred your watercolor paper if you're not real careful with it, which is another reason why I like to use a really small paintbrush with those. I put the wrong lid on there. I'd use these a lot for the little houses that I do in my little worlds in order to be able to get to the fine detail. When you do watercolor with these, after it's dry, if you paint regular watercolor, after it's dry, you can use these to go back over the top of your watercolor. It comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different gray shades. So I use those a lot to go over with the little brushes and add in my shading. It makes a really nice thin line to do the shading. So that's one of my favorite brushes that I use quite a bit. This is my Tombow watercolor pens. They're very much like the ones that I just showed you. I have actually never tried to use these with the paintbrush. I assume that you can do the same thing with it as with the other one. I picked up too much water, sorry. I don't know. Like I said, I've never tried. So yeah, you can. It just doesn't give you as much ink off of the pen as the other one does. But you can just wet the brush with these and use it just like that. So you can get a really nice little cheap, inexpensive set of watercolor paintbrushes on Amazon. I have these green ones. They came in a whole set. I think it was 12 to a set. They have really fine tips. I use these for detail painting all the time. They're one of my go-to. That was my basic quick lesson on pens. I do have the Jelly Roll pens. I have used this particular color quite a bit. It's blue. These dry with a matte finish. They cover really well. They're great to color in. I don't know that they're super great for blending together. I mean, they kind of pick up the color of the next guy and spread it in. As you can see, their colors are not really true to their cap color. I like them. They're not one of my go-to pens. They're not even my really super duper favorite pens. These are my gel pens. I picked these up at Hobby Lobby. These are nice. Gel pen. It has a really nice point to it. As you can see, very vibrant color. These are also great pens. That's watercolor paper. This is just regular paper. As you can see, you can pretty much use on any. You can also use them on black. However, they do not give you the same color. I just haven't found anything that I really, really love to use on the black other than the white. So that's my pens. I'm looking as I'm talking to see if there's any other ones. I did just see some. I purchased these not very long ago. They are, again, Uni Pens. They come in a pack that has this very light gray, a medium gray, and a black. I use these quite a bit. They are very comparable here with all the other ones, as you can see, but they come in the different shades, and I love using these. This one is the one I use quite a bit for the backgrounds, so that I have a really light squiggly lines to fill in areas of the background. I also have some of the, sorry I bumped the table. Windsor Newton also has a black and gray fineliner pen. Windsor Newton is a very good company. They're very good pens. They perform really well on watercolor. They perform just like you would expect them to. Their black is not quite as black as other pens, as you can see. I guess the takeaway on this is, just because this is the official pen doesn't always mean that it's the absolute best pen. You should start with whatever pen you feel like is the pen that you would like to use, and if it's not the official one, but it's your official one, then I believe that's the one that would work best for you. I really hope this helped cover the pen question. And welcome to my channel. Glad y'all could join me for my very first video. I hope I covered it in a helpful way, and I hope you come back for the next one. Thank you.